Hello everybody, Lisa here with another edition of Always Looking Up. I've been talking about technology lately, and one of the things that I have found that has become interesting with technology is how we are communicating more and more with each other through written word. Now, this is both a good and a bad thing, because in some ways we're increasing communication, but in other ways we are setting ourselves up for problems. If you've texted or chatted or messaged someone, sometimes those messages can get misconstrued. Even if you put a little icon or smiley-faced icon, because let's face it, just because you put a smiley-faced icon on something doesn't mean that someone is going to take kindly to every single message that you write. There have been friends that, there's been some misunderstandings in this form of communication. So I've told that person, call me on the phone, let's Skype, let's do something else. And usually when that happens, things work out all right. Sometimes not, but most of the time, when you're able to talk about what you were trying to say, things work out a little bit better. It makes me wonder if the person that you're dealing with and talking to and communicating with doesn't want to hear what you have to say, or doesn't want to allow you to clarify what you say, then that really means that they are finding any excuse to basically end the communication with you. For whatever reason, they either want to end the communication or they want to end the relationship with you. And, you just have to accept that, because that is their choice. How do you avoid these things? I chat and I type pretty fast, and so I have to be very, very careful what I say and what I do, and sometimes, I get too fast. I was just slowing down and being very careful about what you say. Yes, that makes the communication that more labored and that more intensive, but you really do have to be careful with what you say, because that text can be copied and shown to you months later. You said this. So, yeah, you need to be very, very careful with what you say, and of course realize who you're talking to. And the next is, don't let that be your only mode of communication with that person. If it is, and you're starting to have problems, then you need to do something different, because it's just going to end up causing trouble. Third, try to pick and choose the times when you're going to do that kind of communication. Are you in a bad way with that person? Are you already having some things that you're trying to work out and discuss? That might not be the best avenue to do that. I remember the first time that I ever did anything remotely like chatting. It was before my children were born, and it was when the internet was first developed, and there were the bulletin boards. And if you're a kid, you have no idea what a bulletin board is, but people would have servers in their offices or homes, and people could call in to those servers and then could chat or post messages to each other just because they logged into somebody's computer and server. And that was my very first connection with the chat, texting world. And the computer bulletin board that I was a member of, we talked about everything. We talked about politics and religion and sex and computers, and we talked about everything. And you know, we had some people on this side of the fence, some people on that side of the fence, and so we were all just in each other's faces. But people could say things and then be very offended by that other person and what they said, and I thought, why are you being so offended? He just disagrees with you. There's you know what, the person can't disagree with you. And it all came down to, well, how are you being disagreeable? Are you just being a jerk? Are you being in somebody's face? Are you calling them names? You know, there's no real place for that in a discussion when you're sitting there and talking about your opinions about these subjects that are important to all of us. You know, especially things like current events. You have an opinion, I have an opinion, but we ought to be able to sit down and talk about it without calling each other names. Anyway, so, you know, that was late 80s, early 90s that the bulletin board phenomenon was going on. And it kind of shocks me that to this day, we haven't really learned much from it. People are still getting their feelings hurt. People are still living just to make other people upset. And relationships are still being born and dying by the written word, chat, and messaging. So, well, my little friends, I appreciate you spending this time with me. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. We'll talk about some more things later, and I appreciate you being here with me. And if you can, check out my new Ask Nurse Lisa videos. I'm trying to do plenty of those. And I'll see you next week.